He works the farm of Shaikh. He has the best employer, right? His employer is a prophet. So you know there's no dhulm in that relationship. He's married. He has children. And he has a pretty stable life. But what happens after 10 years? And this is the point that I want to emphasize. Musa, individually, he's prospering. He's comfortable. His life is stable. After 10 years, what does he decide to do? He decides to go back to Egypt. He decides to go back to a place where he's wanted for murder. Isn't that strange? That after 10 years, you have this comfortable life. You have this financial stability. You have family. You're in this very beautiful environment. He goes back to Egypt. Why? Because of his sense of duty towards his community. Musa alayhi salam understands that faith and spirituality is not just about the individual. It's not just about whether I'm okay or not. He sacrifices his own comfort and he puts himself through hardship. Why? Because his heart is still with his community, with Bani Israel. That's the type of nobility that we need, brothers and sisters, where we actually care about not just ourselves, but our community. You know, if you look at the Quran strikes a very beautiful balance between the worth of an individual and the value of community. You know, if you look at the Quran teaches us that every single individual is unique, is special to Allah. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. When my servants ask you about me, O Muhammad, indeed I am close. I answer the call of the caller. Ad-da'i. You're not just any caller, you are the caller. At any given moment, there are millions of people who are turning to Allah, and Allah hears you and He listens to you individually. When you raise your hands to Allah in dua, it's as though you are the center of Allah's creation. That's the attention that He gives. So each person is valuable. But at the same time, the interest of an individual has to end when it jeopardizes the well-being of the community. When there's a conflict between the interest of the individual and the interest of the community is given priority. You know, if you look at the Quran from cover to cover, you find that in over 200 instances, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses humanity. It's very rare in the Quran that Allah addresses individuals. Ya ayyuhan nas, Ya bani Adam. There are over 200 instances in the Quran where Allah addresses us collectively. You might see yourself as an individual, but Allah sees us as a human community. Ya ayyuhan nas. Even when Allah addresses the human being, Ya ayyuhal insan, innaka kadihun ila rabbika kadhan famulaqi. This al-insan, Allah is not speaking about a specific human being. He's addressing anyone who identifies as a human being. Lamul jins, al-insan. So that's how Allah addresses humanity. As a group, as a human family. When Allah addresses the faithful, the Muslim community, how does Allah address us? Ya ayyuhalladhina amen. O you who believe. Allah doesn't say Ya ayyuhalladhi amana. O the one who has believed. O you You are a group. You are one. You might see yourself as one believer, but Allah doesn't look at us as individuals. He looks at us as communities.